What if I told you that the secrets to changing the world, accumulating unimaginable wealth, and wielding significant power is dependent on the way you think and approach life? What if I told you that there is a blueprint for building empires and shaping the future? I am the man who redefined industries, who dreams in rocket science and sustainable energy, who has built a fortune so vast it's hard to comprehend. This isn't just about becoming rich. This is about acquiring the mindset, the strategies, and the relentless drive to bend reality to your will. This is about learning how to think like a titan, to innovate without limits, and to build a legacy that echoes through generations. The knowledge you are about to receive, the exact, distilled wisdom of a man who has done what others only dream of, is more valuable than gold. It is the ultimate guide to not just navigating, but dominating the future. I would deep dive into the very fabric of how I approach the world, how I solve problems, and how I endure. This isn't just about business. It's about a philosophy for life, for creation, for impact. First, the bedrock, first principles thinking. Son, the absolute first and most critical lesson I can give you is this. Never, ever accept something as true just because that's how it's always been done. This is a trap, a mental shortcut that leads to incremental improvements at best, and stagnation at worst. You must relentlessly ask, why, and not just once, but 5 times, 6 times, until you drill down to the most fundamental truths, the irreducible elements. These are the first principles, whether you're dealing with the laws of physics, the dynamics of economics, or the intricacies of human behavior. Once you truly understand those basic, underlying components, the atoms of the problem, if you will, you can then build up from scratch. This isn't about optimizing an existing widget. It's about redesigning the entire system from its core. Think about how I approached rockets at SpaceX. Conventional wisdom said rockets were astronomically expensive. I didn't accept that. I broke it down. What are rockets made of? Aluminum alloys, carbon fiber, highly refined oxygen, exotic fuels. What do those raw materials actually cost on the open market? Dramatically, orders of magnitude, less than the final product. This fundamental realization told me the cost wasn't inherent in the materials, but in the inefficient manufacturing processes and, crucially, the fact that rockets were thrown away after one use. This first principles thinking allowed us to completely upend the aerospace industry, showing that rockets could be built far cheaper and, eventually, made reusable. For you, this means always questioning assumptions, dissecting problems to their bare essence, and then innovating with a blank slate, unburdened by past conventions. It's about being a physicist in reality, not just a mechanic. Second, the compass, solve grand challenges. Your energy is finite, so choose wisely where you direct it. Don't just solve problems, solve important problems. Focus your intellect and drive on challenges that, if solved, would have a massive, positive, and fundamental impact on humanity, or enable a truly better future. The bigger the problem you tackle, the greater the potential for impact, for meaning, and yes, for monumental success. I didn't just decide to build a car company. I aimed to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy and transportation with Tesla, addressing the existential threat of climate change. I didn't just build a rocket company. My ambition was to make humanity a multiplanetary species, ensuring the long-term survival of consciousness itself through SpaceX. When I encountered soul-crushing traffic, I didn't just complain. I proposed tunneling solutions with the Boring Company, aiming to revolutionize urban mobility. Look for the areas where progress is stalled, where existing solutions are inefficient, or where humanity faces an urgent, large-scale dilemma. Then, dedicate yourself with an almost religious fervor to creating disruptive alternatives. This mindset naturally aligns your deepest passions with a powerful purpose, attracting the most brilliant minds and the necessary capital to your cause. You won't just be building a product, you'll be building a future. Third, the engine, cultivate an extreme work ethic. Let me be brutally honest, success isn't given, it's earned through relentless, almost inhumane effort. You must be prepared to work harder than anyone else, especially in the crucible of a startup's early stages or when facing seemingly insurmountable obstacles. There will be long hours, often sleepless nights, immense pressure, and periods where you feel like you're staring into the abyss. You must not just tolerate this grind, you must embrace it, because that's where true breakthroughs are forged. My own work schedule and the demands I place on my teams are legendary, and for good reason. I'm not advocating for aimless busywork, but for a focused, intense, and sustained application of your faculties towards clear, ambitious goals. While intelligence and vision are undeniably crucial, sheer perseverance, an unparalleled commitment to the task at hand, and the willingness to push past perceived limits are often the ultimate differentiating factors between those who merely dream and those who actually change the world. Expect to put in 80 to 100 hours a week, and understand that some weeks, it will be more. This level of dedication isn't just about productivity, it's about demonstrating your absolute conviction to your mission, which inspires others to follow your lead. Fourth, the catalyst: embrace calculated risk. Significant rewards rarely come without significant risk. Therefore, calculated risk is absolutely essential for groundbreaking innovation. You must not be afraid to fail, but more importantly, you must be a voracious learner from every failure. Understand the potential downsides intimately, mitigate what you can through clever design and contingency planning, but then, once your analysis is complete, commit fully to the endeavor. If you're not experiencing setbacks and failures sometimes, you're simply not pushing hard enough, not venturing into truly unexplored territory. Every one of my ventures, from Zip2 to Tesla to SpaceX, was considered highly speculative and fraught with peril when it began. People told me I was insane. But it wasn't about reckless gambling. It was about meticulously analyzing the potential outcomes, understanding the probabilities, identifying the critical path to success, and then having the courage to proceed even when the odds weren't guaranteed. This requires a strong stomach, but also the intellectual rigor to discern between foolish leaps and bold, informed moves. Always have a backup plan, but don't let it become an excuse for a lack of commitment to Plan A. Fifth, the journey: long-term vision, iterative execution. You must have a clear, compelling, long-term vision, your North Star, that is so powerful it guides every single one of your decisions, from hiring to product design. But understand that getting to that audacious future requires iterative steps, continuous improvement, and a willingness to adapt your approach, based on new information and constant feedback. Don't be rigid in your methods, but be absolutely unwavering in your ultimate goal. I had a vision for sustainable energy, and for making humanity multiplanetary long before Tesla or SpaceX were successful, even before they were viable companies. You must know precisely where you're ultimately headed, even if the initial path isn't perfectly clear or takes unexpected turns. Then, break that grand vision into manageable, testable steps. Learn from each iteration, whether it's a software build, a rocket launch, or a factory line. And critically, adapt rapidly. This agile approach, borrowed from software development, applies equally to building rockets and complex manufacturing plants. Speed of iteration and learning faster than your competitors is paramount. The person who iterates fastest wins. Sixth, the engine room: build a culture of engineering excellence. Your success will be intimately tied to the people you surround yourself with. So, build a culture of extreme engineering excellence and rapid prototyping. Surround yourself with the smartest, most driven people who are obsessed with building, optimizing, and solving seemingly impossible technical challenges. Foster an environment where good ideas win, regardless of who they come from or their position in the hierarchy. Value rapid prototyping and testing above endless theoretical discussions or bureaucratic processes. I'm known for demanding rigorous engineering and an all-hands-on-deck approach to problem solving. I would tell you to prioritize finding and empowering brilliant engineers and scientists. Create an environment where technical meritocracy reigns, where the best solution is implemented, and where the mantra is build, test, learn, iterate, as quickly as humanly possible. This includes a healthy disdain for "it can't be done," and an almost childlike fascination with "what if we tried this?" all underpinned by deep technical understanding. Question every requirement, every process, every part. 7th. The voice, master storytelling and inspiration. Once you have a great idea and a solid plan, you're only halfway there. You must then learn to articulate your vision in a way that truly inspires others, your employees who will toil alongside you, the investors who will fund your dreams, the customers who will buy your products, and the public who will either support or oppose your endeavors. People don't just buy products, they buy into a mission, a future, a dream. Your ability to convey that mission with passion and clarity will be critical to attracting all the necessary resources and achieving widespread adoption. I don't just talk about cars or rockets. I talk about saving the planet, making humanity a multiplanetary species, and an exciting, awe-inspiring future. You must be able to paint a compelling picture of the world you're trying to create, rallying people around a shared, noble purpose and inspiring them to join you on what will often be a challenging, arduous journey. Be authentic, be passionate, and make your vision irresistible. 8th. The armor, develop unyielding resilience. Finally, understand this, and tattoo it on your soul. You will face immense criticism, devastating setbacks, and moments where everything seems to be collapsing around you. The media will attack, competitors will gloat, and doubts will creep in. Your ability to absorb those blows, learn from them without becoming bitter, and keep pushing forward despite overwhelming adversity will define your long-term success more than almost anything else. Do not let negativity or temporary failures derail your mission. I've been through near bankruptcies at Tesla and SpaceX simultaneously, intense public scrutiny, and constant, often vicious, criticism. You must develop an incredibly thick skin and an almost stubborn belief in your mission, even when others doubt it, even when the data seems grim. You need the mental fortitude to bounce back from the most crushing failures and to simply keep fighting for your vision, day in and day out. The only thing that guarantees failure is giving up. These principles, applied with relentless focus, an almost audacious ambition, precise execution, and unyielding psychological strength, are the bedrock upon which you can build truly significant, world-changing endeavors. Now, go build something great. The future awaits.